I'm really grateful for the Alberta Children's Hospital for the special care they provide for my family, especially these two little guys, Armand and Barron. I'd like to thank the nurses and the doctors for the special care they provide for their patients every day.
We all hope that we never have to use the Alberta Children's Hospital, but we can't always protect our children. Serious injuries and illness can happen when we least expect them. But when they do, it's good to know we have a state-of-the-art facility and world-class medical team that provides life-saving care.
By looking at her now, you'd never imagine this bubbly 7-year-old was fighting for her life a year ago. Sarah Conrad's focus these days is on grade 2 and simply having fun. But this resilient young girl has had a long journey back to health after being critically injured.
As we were walking out of the store, there was a pickup truck that was accelerating through the parking lot, and I remember holding Sarah's hand and stopping walking, and I had long enough to think, oh my goodness, that truck's accelerating, and the next thing I knew, we were back in the store.
Jennifer Conrad and her daughter Sarah never imagined a back-to-school shopping trip would end with life-threatening injuries, but that's exactly what happened last August.
What I do remember is being pushed away from my mom, and I remember the glass, and I remember a chunk of my hair being pulled out and having it being stuck in the bumper.
The accelerator was still pushed down, so I could still hear the tire squealing and just kind of the burning rubber smell that you would get. So all the glass is still falling and people are screaming, and Sarah was right in front of me unconscious, and we were lying on a pile of glass.
Both were injured, but Sarah was unconscious and in big trouble. She had 2 broken femurs, a broken hip and pelvis, fractured ribs, serious cuts, and internal bleeding. Her life was in danger.
I was praying for the EMS to get there really fast. You know, I knew that I was in bad shape, but I knew that Sarah was a lot worse. And at 52 pounds and 6 years old, you know, I knew that I'd be fine, but I could just see her in so much pain, and you know, I just wanted her to be taken care of.
Jennifer was taken to one hospital while the STARS Air Ambulance flew in for Sarah's dramatic rescue and took her to the Alberta Children's Hospital.
Every second counts when a child is injured in terms of saving a life. Every second is of crucial importance.
What makes the difference in a child's survival is speed, skill, technology, dedication, and love. Sarah was one of 59,000 cases who came through the emergency department last year. Thankfully, we have expert pediatric emergency, trauma, and critical care.
Children are different, so the team has to be very educated to pick up the subtle signs that if a child loses consciousness, they need to be supported and put on life support, how they respond to fluids when they're bleeding, they're at risk for going into shock, and all these subtle little nuances need to be addressed within seconds in order to save a life.
You kind of always hear about all the great things that are available at the Children's Hospital, hoping that you never have to be the one that actually utilizes those services. So I had a good knowing that she was in good hands.
Jennifer knew her daughter was getting the very best care. What she didn't know is that this world-class care is fine-tuned with human patient simulation. This is the highly specialized, ongoing training the emergency professionals receive at the Alberta Children's Hospital.
This medical team has an advantage. The Human Patient Simulation Program is like flight training for pilots, but here they get hands-on practice for medical emergencies on these high-tech kid sim mannequins. Their skills stay sharp, and they're prepared for any emergency when seconds count.
Our Kid Sim program does save lives. It's our outreach education program where we take a high-fidelity patient simulator. So a fancy mannequin of a child that has a blood pressure, that has a heart rate, that mimics a sick child. We take it out to the community and we help educate the doctors and nurses in the community as well as within our own hospital how to deal with life-saving situations.
Like a dress rehearsal for the real event, the practice leads to more efficient, faster care. The Alberta Children's Hospital is now a national leader in simulation training, and it's the only kids' hospital in Canada with a simulation lab on site. When Sarah arrived at emergency, she was in critical condition. Time was crucial as the team assessed her injuries and stabilized her.
I've heard stories, and they've kind of told me, you know, it could have really gone either way. Her injuries were so bad that she needed definitely immediate care, or she wouldn't be here.
Sarah's injury involved a lot of force at the time, and children's bones are softer than adults, so they will often buckle or bend, and they don't always completely break. But Sarah has so many complete breaks that her x-ray is often a topic of discussion among the surgeons.
And the only time she cried through the whole ordeal while we were lying on the floor was when the EMS said that they'd have to cut off her dress. And she said, "But it's my favorite summer dress."
Once Sarah was stabilized, her team of surgeons began a 5-hour surgery to painstakingly rebuild her crushed pelvis and repair her 2 broken legs with titanium rods.
We have the most advanced technology to help us accurately make a diagnosis. We then have incredible techniques and very advanced technology that allow us to more rapidly treat, and we're very accurate in our treatments, and all this is leading to much better outcomes and to getting the children back out into the community and back to doing things they want to be doing.
After several more surgeries, Sarah had a long recovery with rest and therapy, over 2.5 months. But perhaps her favorite therapy was through the Healing Arts program, where she did crafts, got to visit with pets, and build things.
There's a little room, a blue room in there, and that's like the giant art room. It has like a lot of art, so you can do like painting pots and planting pots and everything.
There's so many good memories in the hospital for her, way more than the negative memories. And I think a lot of that had to do with just how she was treated while she was there.
We were told that 90% of the babies that were born with it would never leave the hospital, and we found out later that the average life expectancy would be 2.5 days.